Agotamayid, this is Gemara in Sotah Daf Yod Gimel. And yes, for those that inquired, apologies for the background. We are recording here from the Hilton in Somerset, Baruch Hashem. We have the schus of spending Yontif together over here. So we're holding on Daf Yod Gimel Amid Aleph. We are 2 lines down. Yosef Zacha. We're now going to deal with a lot of the most famous kvuras, burials in history, the Kavura of Yosef HaTzadik, the Kavura of Moshe Rabbeinu Lo Yoda, that no one knows where he was buried. Let's dive right in. So Yosef was Zeicha to bury whom? Yaakov Avinu, Yosef's illustrious father. Says the Gemara, Maishna Meikar Dechsev, Vayal Yosef Likvar Zav, Vyalu Oisai Kol Avdei Para V'Goymer. Originally, what does it say? That who was the first to go up? Yosef, and then the Avdei Para, then the servants. V'Haderb, then the Psukim continue and teach us Beis Yosef Echav uBeis Aviv, the Beis Yosef the Echav, and then Beis Aviv. U'Maishra LeBesaif. Excuse me, that's the same pasuk again. First says Yosef, and then it says the Beis Yosef and the brothers went with him. And why Lebesaif does it say Vayishev Yosef Mitzrayma? The psukim continue and say, and then it was Yosef that went up. Who ve'echav ve'hadar v'cholaylemes likvar esaviv. So why the switch? Why originally, when they're coming back, does it say that the Mitzrayim came before the Echav, the brothers? Why, when they were going to the Kvura, does it list the brothers and then the Mitzrayim? Omar Rav Yechlan, says Rav Yechlan, 5 lines into the wide lines, Yud Gimel Amud Aleph, Betchila Achlei Ro Kavod Shel Yisrael. Originally, they didn't see the kavod that Yaakov Avinu received. Therefore, Lo Nagmem Kavod. Therefore, all the Mitzrayim didn't give Yaakov Avinu the appropriate honor. But in the end, when they saw the incredible honor which we're about to see, the incredible honor that Yaakov Avinu received from everyone, all the Mitzrayim as well gave him the honor, so they're listed first. Says the Gemara, is there a gairen? Is there a threshing floor for thorns? No, we learn from here they surrounded the coffin with the crowns. All the kings that were there put their crowns on the aron, of Yaakov Avinu. Like this garain, like this threshing floor that are surrounded with thorn bushes. Because what happened? All the descendants of Esav b'nei Keturah, etc., all came. Tani, we learned to the Brayz, they all really came to fight. But then, what did they see? They were met by an incredible sight. That the crown of the Viceroy of Mitzrayim, Yosef HaTzadik, was where? On the Aron of Yaakov Avinu. Therefore, they all backed off, and rather not like Kulan Kisreim Vatzlum Ba'aron Shal Yaakov. They all took off their crowns, and they hung it on the Aron, on the coffin. Tana, from here we learned there were 36 crowns hanging on the Aron. But Yisru Sham Mitzvah Gadol, and the Psukim continue that by the Kvur of Yaakov Avinu they said a great hesped v'kavod ma'id, and it was, excuse me, one second, having an issue. There it is, v'kavod ma'id, and it was a very heavy hesped. Tani, we learned in the Mishnah, afilu susa afilu chamayrim. There were even horses and donkeys. So here's the famous story. So everyone's going to bury Yaakov Avinu. They reach Marsa Bachvel and Chavrain. Also Esav Esav comes. And Esav says, what are you doing? Why are you taking my burial plot? For Marsa Bachvela. That's where we're going. Why is it called Kiryas Arba? Because there were 4 pairs that were buried there. And finally, Yaakov and Leah. So Iu Kavra Leah, B'didei, V'hai Debayish Dideyu. So it says Esav, he buried Leah on his portion. Now the final Kvura is for whom? Is for me, is for Esav, says Esav. So Amrulay, they tell Esav, what are you talking about? Zavinte! You sold him the burial plot, Yaakov Avinu. Amrullahu, Nehida Zavina Bechirusa. Pshitusa means Zavina, you're right, I sold my firstborn rights. But I didn't sell my Pshitos, I didn't sell my rights to what a regular son gets. Amrullah, yes you did. As our father Yaakov Avinu taught us before he was nifter. They bury me in the kever that I was karisi, which we're learning means purchased. Amar Rav Yechon Shimon Yitzadok. Ein kira, this word karisi al lashon mechira, to buy. Shkein b'charkei am karin lemechira kira. Amar lehu havli agerta. So Esav says. So Esav asks, havli agerta. Give me the geres, give me the deed that Yaakov Avinu indeed bought this burial plot for me. Amrullah, Igarta Barta Mitzrayim. So he said, Esav, we don't have it right now. Where is the Igarta? Where is the deed of sale? In Mitzrayim. Uma Nezal, who should be able to go all the way back to Mitzrayim from Chevron and get it? Nezal Naphtali. So Naphtali should go. Why? The Kilul Ki Ayalta. Because Naphtali is fast like an ayal, like a deer. Tachsev, as the Pasuk says, Naphtali ayal shlucha and noisin imrei shefer. So Amaravu Atikri imrei shefer ella imrei sefer, as he was the one that brought back the sefer, brought back the proof that indeed Yaakov Avinu was able to be buried there. Continues the narrative. Chushin b'rei Dan Taman Aviu. Chushin ben Dan was over there. Nikrin le Odnei, but Chushin ben Dan v'Akirin le Odnei, was hard of hearing. Hard of hearing. Yes, I said it right the first time. Hard of hearing. Oizen is his ears. My high, what's going on over here? What's this commotion? They said, that this guy, Esav, is now letting us bury Yaakov Avinu. Adasi Naphtali married to Mitzrayim. Till Naphtali comes back from Mitzrayim with the deed of sale. Amr lahu, Chushit says, Vadasi Naphtali married to Mitzrayim, Abba Muta B'Vizayon. Chushin ben Dan, his grandfather was Yaakov Avinu. She says, so until Naphtali gets back, Yaakov Avinu is going to be lying here in Bizayon. He would not have that. So Shakal Kulfa, he took his stick, Umachia Reshe, and he smashed Esav on the head. Notron Einayu, Esav eyes popped out, and Nafla Akar the Yaakov, and it fell on the legs of Yaakov Avinu's dead body. B'chinte Yaakov Leinei Yaakov Avinu opens his eyes, and his smile is on his lips. And from here we learn out Samach Sadik, that the Sadik rejoices ki chaza naakam, because he sees that he received a vengeance. Pa'am of Yirchatz B'dam HaRasha, bathe his feet in the blood of the Rasha. Ba'isa Shah, in that moment, Niskayim of Asal Rivka, the Nevuah of Rivka was fulfilled. Why the two of them referred to her two children of Yaakov and Esav? Why should the two of them be that I'm going to be mourning for both of them the same day? Even though it's true they didn't die in the same day, but we see from here they're both going to be buried on the same day. Period. So that's the end of what happens. So they got rid of Esav, and they could proceed with the kavura of Yaakov Avinu in Ba'aras HaMachpelah. So says the Gemara, 1 second. If Yosef didn't deal with the kavura, Chavla Ma'asik Bey, his brothers, the other shift they call when they deal with the kavura of Aksib, the Pasuk says, the Pasuk says that the children carried him out to Canaan. So why are we making it sound like it's all Yosef Sadik? Amrus, they explained, it's true. The brothers would indeed have dealt with it. The reason they allowed Yosef to be the one was why? Because there's a more kavod for Yaakov Avinu to have a melech, to have Yosef at Tzaddik to be the one to have Yosef at Tzaddik to be the one to deal with the kavura. And we continue around 25 lines from the bottom of Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. First word in line is like kavod. We read the two dots. Milan Agada Yosef said the Mishnah, is anyone greater as Yosef? And who was the one that ended up attending to the Kavura of Yosef? Moshe Rabbeinu. Tan Rabbanan Barei Kama Chavivas Mitzvahs Al Moshe Rabbeinu. Look how endeared Moshe Rabbeinu loved the mitzvah. Shekol Yisrael Kulon is Asku Biza. What is all of Kal Yisrael doing right now? They're dealing with the Biza. They're dealing with the booty of Mitzrayim. Vehu, and what's Moshe Rabbeinu doing? Nis Asek b'mitzvah. He's dealing with mitzvah Shenamar As the pasuk says, Chacham leiv yikach mitzvahs, Moshe Rabbeinu is referred to a Chacham taking mitzvahs. How did Moshe Rabbeinu know where Yosef Tzadik was buried? Amru Serach Bas Asher Nishtayim Mesedar Serach Bas Asher. It was the only one that was around from the time that Yosef was nifter. Halach Moshe Atzal Moshe went to Amr Lo Klumat Yodat Eichen Yosef covered. Do you know where Yosef is buried? Amr Lo. She responds, Aron Shamatech is also Mitzrayim. The Mitzrayim made a metal box v'kavua b'Nilos, and they sunk the box in the Nile River, Hanar. Because they wanted their waters to be blessed from the Yosef being in there. So Moshe Rabbeinu goes and he stands at the edge of the Nile River. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, the time of the Shvuah of Hashem, that Hashem says, I will redeem you, it has come. The Shvuah that he came to, he swore to Klal Yisrael, and he says, Moshe Rabbeinu says, so if you're going to listen, Yosef Tzadik, then great. And if not, I'm going to be cleansed, absolved of your Yosef Tzadik's oath, meaning that I won't have to fulfill that which you, Yosef, said and take you out when we leave Mitzrayim. Yosef. Immediately, Aaron of Yosef floats to the top. Moshe Rabbeinu was able to take it out with Klal Yisrael. And if you're worried, how is this type of metal floating? Don't ask that question. Sharik Sif says in the Torah, not in the Torah, Melachim. Well, is Torah just not in the Bible, rather in Nevi'im. Says the pasuk in Malachim, one of them, this is by Elisha, one of his Talmidim, was using a beam of iron, and the axe head fell into the water, and he cries out, Adoni, V'hu Shaul, woe is to me and woe is to my master, because it's a borrowed axe head, and I'm going to lose the axe head. Vayomer Ish Elokim, and the Ish Elokim, referred to Elisha, of course, responds, Ana Nofel, where did it fall? And the Talmud shows his Rebbe Elisha the place. And what happens? And Elisha cut a piece of wood, he throws it there, Vayosef barzel, and all of a sudden the barzel, the iron axe head, floats to the top. Elisha tell me, tell me the Elisha Navi was incredible. He was the Talmud of Eliyahu Navi, who was incredible. He was the Talmud of Moshe Rabbeinu. And yet, Tzav Barzel Mibana of iron was able to float for Elisha. Moshe Rabbeinu Alachas Kam V'Kama. Certainly don't be bothered that the iron of Yosef Tzadik is floating for him. Continues the Gemara, 8 lines from the bottom. First line is Rabbeinu. Rav Nasan Aimer Divim Shat. Mikabarnit Shamalacham Aya Kavur. Where was Yosef Tzadik buried? Not in the ocean, but rather in the Kabarnit, in the tombs, in the chambers, where all the kings of Mitzrayim were buried. Moshe Vamed al Kabarnit. So Moshe goes and stands at the entrance of Malachim Amar Yosef Yigiyesh Nishbak Baruch Shalom Digol Eschem Yigiyesh V'Shvat Yisrael. Imatamar Etzcham Buta. And Moshe Rabbeinu says the same line. Yosef, the time for the Shvuah, because Baruch has come if you reveal yourself great. I'm not very nimanuka minishvua seich. But he says, so there's all these different tombs over there, and he didn't know which was Yosef, which was of the Egyptian kings, and one of them started shaking. So Moshe Rabbeinu takes it and he starts being able to take it out of it. So now when Klal Yisrael is traveling in the Midbar, comments the Gemara, these two Aranais, Echad shal meis, one aron of the meis of Yosef Tzadik, v'echad shal Shechina, and one the aron of the Aron HaKodesh, the aron for the Mishkan of the Shechina, was Mahalchan Zeh would walk with each other, v'ya'ivrim v'shavim v'amrim mati v'shal Shnei Aronot halalu, and people would remark, what is the nature of these two Aronais? So Amru, they said, Echad shal meis, v'echad shal Shechina, one is of a dead person of Yosef Tzadik, and one is of the Shechina. So sad people would wonder, and what is how could it be that the Shechina is together with a mace, the living with a Kadosh Baruch Hu? Says the Gemara, as we turn over to Yigimel Amebeis, Amru, they responded, Kiyam zeh kol ma shekaseh b'zeh. This one fulfilled whatever was written in this one. That's why Yosef Tzadik's Aron had the incredible schos of being together with the Aron, the Shechina itself. We continue on the top line of Yud Gimel Amid Beis. Asks the Gemara the same kasha that the Gemara just asked about Yosef. What was the question we asked about Yosef? That if Yosef didn't deal with the Kavura of Yaakov, would no one have dealt with it? So asks the Gemara the same question. It sounds like that a Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't have dealt with the Kavura of Yosef HaTzadik. It sounds like what would have happened? It sounds like no one would have dealt with it. Asks the Gemara, really? Klal Yisrael wouldn't have dealt with it. But the pasuk says, and furthermore, Ilo Asik Bey Yisrael, Banav Lavim Asik Bey, his own children, and Hashem Ephraim would have dealt with it. So Amru Inichlo Kvadim Rubim Yosef Mu'atim. So originally they said, no, we should have buried Yosef HaTzadik. Why not? Because there's more kavod for more people, and that's why his own children left him for Klal Yisrael. And then Klal Yisrael said, we're going to allow Moshe Rabbeinu as the ultimate kavod is with the gadol dealing with the kavura. Says the Gemara on the third white line, Kavru b'Shechem. So where was Yosef HaTzadik buried? Quite a difficult place. To get there, he's buried in Shechem. Why was Yosef in Shechem? Why is that where they chose to bury him? Shechem was the place in which they kidnapped Yosef HaTzadik from, so Shechem is going to be the place they return the Aveda. Says the Gemara, 1 second. Kashu Graya Dadi, the Psukim are stira. Ksiv, one hand it says, he took the bones. Who was one that took the bones? We're saying now that it was Moshe Rabbeinu. But from the different psukim, it sounds like it was Klal Yisrael. Explains the Gemara 6 lines into the wide lines. A startling line. Tremendous chizuk. Whoever starts something and doesn't finish it, someone else comes to Gamru. Allah HaKadosh Baruch Hu considers it HaKosav al Shegamru as if the one that completed it, that he did the entire mitzvah kilu aso, as if he did it. And now the Gemara goes to the next level. If one starts a mitzvah, doesn't finish it, they bring him down from his gadlos. The Chsiv, as the pasuk says, Yehuda was brought down as he didn't finish the shlichus. Starting a mitzvah, not finishing it is dangerous. It could cause one to Rachman al-Islam bury his children. The Chsiv, so we see the incredible importance of finishing that which one starts. And the one doubt we're going to say, the Yontav of Pesach, the Yontav of Chipazayin, is the Yontav of Zerizos. Chipazayin, to dive in, to do it fast, do it with alacrity, is the Yontav of Zerizos. But let's remember, don't just start something. Oh, how often? Yes, we start many things. But when do we finish it? That's what we're learning from the Gemara. We have to make sure to conclude the mitzvah as well. So we're 13 lines down. First one in line is V'yamas Erev Einan. Continues the Gemara. What is the reason that in Yosef's own lifetime he referred to himself as Atzamais, as bones? You know why? Because Yosef HaTzadik did not protest for the honor of his father. The Kamar lay, as when the brother said, Avducha Avinu, your servant, our father. And Yosef HaTzadik didn't say anything. Now, of course, this was at a point in the story that Yosef had not revealed himself yet, but still to hear his father be said over in a degradatory manner, Avdecha, that was why he was punished. Why did Yosef Tzaddik, why was he the first of the brothers to be nifter? Because he was naig with Rabbanas, he was naig with authority, and that is what could cause one's life to be shortened. And we continue the 2 dots about 20 lines into the wide lines. First one line is Yosef. Yosef were in Mitzrayim, Amar Rav Elazar, al tikri urad Elohayrid. Don't read the process that he brought down, but rather, that he was brought down. Rather, he brought down Yosef. It caused the downfall of Mitzrayim. Shahayrid, which downfall? It's Agnine Paroi, the astrologers, the stargazer, Paroi, Migad Lusan. Vaikneo Poitivar is just Paroi. Now we get into the story of Yosef HaTzadik, that Poitifar, the Sris of Paroi, one of the Parois, Avodim purchased Yosef Amar Rav Shechanu La'atzmai. Not such a known detail of the story, perhaps. The Poitifar, the husband, was kind of Yosef for himself. He was attracted to Yosef as Zadik. Paul Gavriel, the Malk Gavriel came with Sirsai and made Poitifar unable to have relations. But Gavriel Paroi, and then Gavriel came. Excuse me, but it's machlekes whether it's Saris or Para. Either way, it's the same thing. That Poitifar was unable now to have relations, and that's when Isha's Poitifar gets involved. The Meikar said Poitifar l'bseif Poitipara. Milanu Gadol mi Moshe v'chulu, says the Gemara. Was anyone greater than Moshe Rabbeinu? And who was the one that attended to Moshe Rabbeinu? Because Moshe buried Yosef Azadik. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself says, "I'm going to be the one to deal with the Kvura of Moshe Rabbeinu." So continues the Gemara, the two dots, 25 lines down. Hashem says, it is much for you. And this is HaKadosh Baruch Hu telling Moshe Rabbeinu, stop davening. Stop requesting to get to go into Eretz Yisrael. Amar Rav Levi, Berav biser, Berav bisruah. With the word Rav was used to him, and therefore with the word Rav was used as he was... Let's say that better. Moshe Rabbeinu used the word Barav, so he now is told Barav. What does that mean? Barav biser Rav Lachem. As Moshe Rabbeinu said to the children of Levi, it's too much for you. Barav bisru Rav Lach. Davracha Rav Lach, Rav Yesh Lach. Omanu Yeshua. There's another person waiting to be appointed, Hashem says to Moshe, so you no longer can live. Yeshua Davracha Rav Lach. Shlayamar Arav Kama Kashav Talmidei Kama Sarvin. No one should say how difficult it is for the Rebbe and how persistent is the Talmud of Kol Kach Lama. Why? Tanur Yishma Lefum Gamla Shichna. Says the Gemara, you know why? Because according to the camel, it's the burden that just as much as the burden Hashem gives based on the person, based on his sitkis, that's why he's given such an incredible test. And Moshe Rabbeinu is saying that I am 120 years old. I'm 120 years old today. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu say Hayoim? He could have said I'm 120 years old. That precise day was the day that his 120th year completed. This teaches us HaKadosh Baruch Hu mashlim sh'naiseim shel tzadikim miyoyim liyoyim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays tzadikim back day to day. U'mechodesh l'chodesh, month to month. Chsev es mismar yomecha amalei. Lucha lotzes v'lava. My lotzes lava. Yilima lotzes lava. You can tell me that Moshe Rabbeinu's strength, he wasn't so strong. V'chsev the pasuk says not the way. Moshe ben me'av esrim shana ben Moshe lo nas leichai. That none of his strength wavered. U'ksev yal Moshe b'arvus ma'av har nevai. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up. V'tani the Brisa says, "Time esrim malos ha'yisham." There were 12 steps. Upasa Moshe b'psiachas. And Moshe jumped up all 12 steps in one jump. So obviously his strength was not an issue. So what does it mean that Moshe Rabbeinu says, "I no longer have any strength"? I'm Shmuel ben Achmeini. I'm Rav Yehuda's son. Lord says, "V'lavai b'divrei Torah." What does that mean? Mimenu shari chachma. Kadosh Baruch Hu closed up was nistam, the gates of wisdom from Moshe Rabbeinu. V'yidach Moshe v'Yeshua. Moshe Yeshua goes. V'yisatzu v'al mayit. Tanu learned to the Mishnah Isa. Shabbos shel Isa. Shabbos shel diu zuge Isa. That was a Shabbos of two zugim, two friends. This was when Klal saw Moshe Rabbeinu leave, and at the same time they saw Yeshua enter in. Nitla Rishon Zelizah. One took permission from the other. V'nisla Zevitanim Rav Yehuda. And Mali Makar Kazi Avshalayim. If not for a pasuk, we wouldn't be able to say it. Heichan Moshe Meis Bechalkin Shal Ruvain Techsev Yal Moshe Barvus Moav Har Nevai. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to Har Nevai. Nevai Bechalkin Shal Ruvain Kaima Techsev. V'nei Ruvain Benam V'Gaimer Es V'Nevai. V'heichan Moshe Kaver Bechalkin Shal God. But what do you mean? We know Moshe Rabbeinu was buried in the Chilik of Gavi. Arishas Lai V'Gaimer Bechalkin Shal Ruvain Bechalkin Shal God Kama Have Arba Milin Oisa. Arba Milin. Miolichu Milame Moshe Muta Bekanfe Ashchino Malache Sharis Aimrim. So Moshe Rabbeinu didn't just walk to his kavura; he was placed on the wings of the Shechina, whatever that means, and the Malachim are screaming out and saying, Sidkas Hashem also Mishparim Yisrael. V'Hakadosh Baruch Hu Omer Mi Yakum Li Imrei Mi Yisativ Li Impayali Aven. And finally, we conclude that Shmuel adds on to the story. What is the hesped of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Mika chacham yodea pashar davar. Who is the wise man who knows everything, like Moshe Rabbeinu? Rav Yechlan Amar, HaChachma mein Timsa, Rav Nachman Amar, V'yamas Sham, Moshe, and Rav Nachman says, Moshe Rabbeinu there was Nifter Simal Yoin Amar, V'yamas Moshe, Safar Rabbah di Yisrael, the Safar Rabbah, the great scholar of Klal Yisrael, there was buried. Tanya, we learned in our Brayso of Lazar Gadol Aimer, Shnai Meser Mil, Al Shem Meser Mil, Keneged Machane Yisrael, for an area of 12 mil by 12 mil, corresponding to the size of the camp of Klal Yisrael. Baskol Mashmiya, Baskol went out, Vaimer, and the Baskol says, V'yamas Moshe Safar Rabbah di Yisrael, V'yishayimrim Lomis Moshe. You know how some say Moshe Rabbeinu never was actually nifter, K'sev ha'achav V'yamas Sham, U'ksev ha'asam, V'yishamim Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu was up in Shemayim for 40 days and 40 nights learning with Hashem. Ma'alahalan Oymirim Mishamish, Moshe Rabbeinu was standing and being Mishamish HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Afkan Oymirim Mishamish, Moshe Rabbeinu is doing the same. We're going to stop over here and we'll conclude tomorrow with the rest of the burial, B'siyat Shemaya of Moshe Rabbeinu.